Do you need to pay capital gains tax on silver and gold? Hey everybody, how you doing? Stacking Stormtrooper. Hope you're doing well. Today's video is about capital gains tax. A lot of people always are asking me about this, and so I figured it was time to make a video about this because I'm always buying and selling silver and gold. So I do know a little bit about this stuff. Now, again, remember, in all of these videos, I put the disclaimer down below. I am not a financial advisor. I'm merely a guy in a bucket talking about precious metals. So make sure, guys, you hit that subscribe button and get that like button pressed as well. But anyway, when it comes to capital gains taxes, you know, nobody wants to pay tax, right? I mean, who the heck wants to pay tax? You don't want to on anything, stuff that you buy and profits that you might make on items that you sell. But the truth of the matter is you actually are supposed to. Now, I say you're supposed to because it almost in some way is a little bit like the honor system. The only thing is, and we're going to get to talking about audits and things like that in just a moment. But, you know, a lot of people in the stacking community, they will do a lot of their transactions using cash, right? Whether you are buying silver and gold at the coin shop or from another individual, you most likely are using cash. Unless you're buying from online bullion dealers, you know, you would typically then use either an e-check or PayPal or credit card. But oftentimes people within the stacking community, they're going to be using cash because a lot of people, they don't want to have that paper trail, right? They don't want the government to know what they've been buying. And they just like to be very private. A lot of people within the stacking community are very particular with the way that they conduct their business, and they are very secretive. I'm not one of those secretive individuals. I'm kind of like an open book type of person, hence the YouTube channel, and I'm sharing with all of you what it is that I do, so that way I could help educate all of you with your stacking endeavors. So when it comes to this stuff, right? Buying and selling this stuff. I've been doing this for a couple of years now. I have a business in which I am buying and selling silver and gold on the side. I do auctions on YouTube, Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern, and I do sales on Instagram and other peer-to-peer apps as well. Now, I am in a little bit of a different situation than most of you because a lot of you most likely do not have a business in buying and selling silver and gold. You are just, the majority of you are probably everyday people that will buy the silver and gold and just hang on to it. And then if you need to make some money or you want to make some profits or you just need to free up some funds, then you're going to go and you're going to sell these items. Now, I do have an article that I posted down below, which you feel free to check out on your own, but I'm going to just kind of skip through some of it for you, save you a bit of time. Now, this article was posted February 16th of 2020, so it's fairly recent, and I just went through it and I pulled out the couple of things that are important for you guys. But the one thing to keep in mind, before I kind of just talk about the points in here that are important, for me, as a business owner, the silver and gold that I am buying and selling, I am paying quarterly taxes on throughout the year. So if I were to, let's say, buy this American Silver Eagle, let's say I bought this for $20 and I sold it for $40, the $20 profit that I made on that coin, I will then pay a tax on that depending on my tax bracket. But I am paying taxes every single quarter. So on all the auctions that you guys are seeing, all of those items that I bought at one price, sold for another, that net profit I do get taxed on. So I'm in a little bit of a different situation in where I pay my taxes quarterly, whereas for the majority of you who are going to be doing things by the book, you're going to want to pay your taxes at the end of the year, and you should be keeping track of your purchases and what you've been selling everything for. Now, remember, I said at the beginning of this video, you're supposed to pay taxes. If you buy these items for one price and you go and you sell them for a higher price, let's say you go to your coin shop and you sell them for cash. I mean, let's be honest here. you're not really necessarily going to be audited unless you're doing something like a substantial deal, right? It's like $10, $20, $30, $40,000. And then you take that cash and you just deposit it into your bank account and stuff like that. There are ways that you're going to send off some red flags. But by and large, in all honesty, speaking like as I would to a friend, nobody's going to necessarily know. So if you went to the coin shop, sold, a little bit of gold for cash, I mean, nobody's gonna really know, right? Nobody's gonna come pounding on your door and find out, okay? But if you are doing a substantial amount, then you do want to kind of consider paying the tax on it, and you should also speak to a tax professional. But basically, capital gains tax, it's only owed after the sale of such holdings, and if the holdings were held for more than a year. Okay, so that's one thing right there. So if you're holding, gold, silver, platinum, palladium, titanium, if you hold it for more than a year, so if you bought, let's say, this coin and you held it for more than a year and then you go and you sell it afterwards, that's when you're going to need to pay tax on it. If this is something that you held for, 6 months and sold it, then it's a little bit different. Physical holdings in gold and silver are subject to a capital gains tax equal to your marginal tax rate up to a maximum 28%. So there are individuals that are in the higher tax brackets. I happen to be one of the individuals that's in one of these higher tax brackets, but so my maximum on the silver and gold is 28%. Okay, so that is one thing that you're going to want to keep in mind. Now, just put that to the side there. Right here, instead sales of physical gold or silver, they need to be reported on a Schedule D form of a 1040 on your tax return. There are 1099B forms that need to be submitted, but that really entails coins such as $1,000 face value of 90%, junk silver, 25 or more 1 ounce gold Maple Leafs Krugs or gold Mexican onza coin. So right here's an onza coin, but 25 or more 1 ounce gold Maple Leafs. Okay, so this 1099 form only really comes into play if you're selling 1,000 face value or more of junk silver or 25 or more ounces for the 1099B. Now, this doesn't mean that you don't have to pay taxes on this stuff. If you're like, oh, well, I'm going to do 24 Maple Leafs. No, you're going to have to still pay the tax on the 1040. But you're not going to have to do the 1099 form if it's less than this amount, okay? Now, right here, though, the one thing is the American Gold Eagle coins don't require a Form 1099B. So that's another nice thing about the Gold Eagles, right? One less form that you have to fill out. But still, guys, you are going to need to do the 1040 at the end of the year. There are some other implications, right? If you have received things as inheritance, there's a tax example and offset possibilities. This is kind of just giving you an example. If you buy a certain coin for a certain amount and then you go and you sell it, capital gains tax right here. So if you, let's say, bought the coins for 133 grand, sold it for 150, your profit 17, taxes are 28% of that 17, so you're going to owe, roughly 30% of that net profit. My point to you again, though, from earlier is you really aren't going to necessarily need to do this unless you're one of those individuals that are really by the book and are afraid that the government's going to come knocking on your door. Then you don't really need to worry about that. Me, again, I'm in a little bit of a different situation where, again, I have a registered business. I am a bullion dealer. I buy and sell silver and gold on the side of my regular job as a teacher. So I do pay quarterly. I don't want to ever have to be audited, and something like that does freak me out. So that's why if you're ever watching my auctions, I make sure that people are sending me payments, goods, and services. It protects the individual who is buying. There's a little bit more of a paper trail. And I also then don't risk the PayPal account getting shut off. There's other ways to accept payments. I know there's Zelle, there's Venmo, there's Google, there's Apple Pay. There's all these different ways, but I do it through PayPal just because to me it's a little bit more by the book. But you know, speaking to you as, let's say, a friend, if I were to go and want to sell this coin, let's say I bought this for $2,000 and then I want to go and I sell it for $2,500, let's say, I'm definitely on the side. I'm not going to be reporting that $500 profit at all. I'm going to take that money and I'm going to just use it for things that I need, right? So you really only need to worry about it if you have a substantial amount that you are doing, or if you're one of those rule followers. But otherwise, I wouldn't necessarily worry about, the capital gains taxes. If you want to look into this article a little bit more, like I said, I'm posting the link down below. Let me know any experiences that any of you had, whether you have paid capital gains taxes or if you didn't, you did a significant sale and then something occurred where maybe you were audited by the IRS. Let us know. Share your stories with us. Again, these videos, guys, that I'm putting out, sometimes I'm getting questions from you, which is kind of giving me the ideas for these videos. So feel free to drop me a line and in your comments, and you never know when one of your questions or comments are going to be turned into a video. And I just want to quickly thank these elite channel supporters. And if you haven't become a channel member, please check out the awesome perks and join today. With that, I'm the Stacking Stormtrooper. Check out these videos. Until next time, long live the Empire.